All right, sixth graders. So, welcome to Statistics Day 3. We've got some exciting stuff for you today. So we have on the screen pictures of a lot of seemingly random things, right? We've got stuff for science, Einstein's on there, business, a basketball, some weather things. This is to remind you that statistics is everywhere. It's amazing. You can use it for just about anything. It's really cool. All right, so let's move into it. Let's see what we can learn today. So, I've got a quick little reminder for you here. Feel free to come back to this at any time, okay? These are long definitions with big words, so if you feel like you need to re-look them up, you got to remind yourself what they are. That's totally fine, okay? So remember, statistics is the science of collecting, organizing, interpreting, and analyzing data. Okay? So, we have statistics is the science of collecting, organizing, interpreting, and analyzing data. Now, data is information that is gathered for reference or analysis. So it's the actual stuff that you gather when you're doing a statistical analysis. A statistical question must be able to be answered with data or data, must have variability in the answers, and must be focused on a specific population. All right, let's move right into the stuff we are going to learn today. Oh, that's not how you do it. There we go. So, mean. Mean is a word for the average of a data set. The way that I always remembered this when I was a kid is, I don't know why this stuck with me, but my teacher said this when I was learning about this, and it was, the average monster is very mean. And for some reason, just thinking about that really helped me remember it. So if you got to use that to remember it, feel free. So the average monster is very mean. So what we mean when we say mean is that we're finding the average of all of the numbers in the data that we collected. So if we look right here, say this is our data set. So we have 3, 5, 7, 4, 2, 3. Those are the numbers in our data set. So the first step in finding the mean or the average is to add all of those numbers together. So I do 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 4 plus 2 plus 3, and I end up with 24. Now the next step is to divide that number, the number that you got from adding all of your numbers in the data set, by how many numbers there are in the data set. Okay? So you divide this 24 by however many numbers there are in the data set. Now if we look up here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers in the data set. So we take our 24 and we divide it by 6, and we get 4. That 4 is the mean or the average of our data set above. This is the same process you're going to do for any data set with numbers that you have, okay? And it's going to change based on what your numbers are and how many of them you have. So if I got rid of this last 3, if this 3 wasn't even in there, pretend it's not there. Oh, okay, the 2 also, I didn't mean to cross that one out. But we'll say the 2 and the 3 are not part of our data set. We only have the 3, the 5, the 7, and the 4. Then what I would be doing, I'd be adding 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 4. Let's see, what do I get when I get that? 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus 4 is 19. So now, instead of dividing by 6 like I did before, now I only have 4 numbers in my data set. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I would take that 19, the number I got from adding them together, and divide it by 4, the number of, the amount of numbers in the data set. So for this, it would be 19 divided by 4. And you're going to get a decimal for that, and that's totally fine. Your mean or your average does not have to be a whole number, okay? So let's move on to the next. We've got median, which is the number in the middle of the data set. Median is the number in the middle of the data set. The way I always remembered this when I learned statistics was median is in the middle. So median, I always thought of like median sounds like medium, and that's always kind of in the middle of things, right? So median is in the middle. So let's move right over here. So to find the median, we say, say that this is your data set right here. Wow, that's a big pencil. I need one smaller. Say that that's your data set. Now, the first thing you want to do with your data set when you're finding the median is put it in order from smallest to largest, okay? If you just find the median from this, how it is, you're not going to find the right number. So you need to first put your data in order from least to greatest, okay? Just like we did right here. Now, there are 2 ways you can find the median after you've done that. The first way, over here, you can count how many numbers you have in your data set. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 numbers in our data set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up 1 because I know that 7 divided by 2 is not a whole number. I'm going to go up 1 and I'm going to say 8 divided by 2. And that is 4. So, to get your answer here, you counted how many numbers we had in the data set. Since it was an odd number, we went up 1 to get to an even number and divided it by 2. And we got 4. Now to use that 4, what we do is we find the number within our data set that is in the 4th place. So, the way we can think about this is if we have, we know we have 7 numbers right here. And we want to count into the 4th place. So that 1 is the 1st place, the 3 is in the 2nd place, 4 is in the 3rd, and the 5 is in the 4th place. So that 5 in the 4th place is our median. Okay? Another way you can do this, right over here, you can just count in from the outsides. So I can say, getting rid of 1 and 9, 3 and 8, 4 and 7, and we find 5 in the middle. So we find that 5 is the number in the middle of the data set, or the median. Alright, let's see. Now we move on to mode. This is the most used number in the data set. The way I always remember this was that mode kind of sounds like most, so mode, most used, okay? So, the mode is the most used number in the data set. So if we have a data set right here, now if you look at it, it's not in order from smallest to largest, right? You can find the mode when it's like this if you have a small data set, because you can kind of keep track of it. You know, you look through and you say, okay, we've got a 3, 6, a 2, oh, another 3, another 6, 4, 7, another 2, another 3. But keeping track of all this when you have more and more numbers in your data set is going to get really hard. So, my suggestion is to get into the practice of first putting your data set in order from smallest to largest. Right over here. So that's what I've done right here. So we have 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 6, 6, 7. And we're looking for the number that is used the most in the data set. Now 2 is used twice, 3 is used 3 times, 4 is used once, 6 is used twice, and 7 is used once. So out of all of these numbers in our data set, 3 was used the most. It was used 3 times. So our mode, or our most used number, is 3. Alright, now I've got one more thing to go over here. The last one is range, how big the data set is. So this is the difference between the highest number in the data set and the lowest number in the data set. Let me show you. So we have our data set right here, 4, 6, 2, 9, 10, 13, 2. Again, this is one where you could do it without putting it in order from smallest to largest, but that's going to get harder once you have more and more numbers in your data set. So I would definitely suggest for this one too, putting it from smallest to largest so that you can really easily keep track of what's going on in there. So then you take the largest number, 13, and you subtract the smallest number, 2. 13 minus 2 equals 11. So our range is 11. What that means is from the smallest number to the largest number, there are 11 whole numbers in between. Okay? Alright, so feel free to go back and find the places in here that you weren't quite sure about. We're going to move on to the worksheet and ask any questions if you need them, okay? Perfect.